discussion 3 already. This week we're doing chapters 10 and 8, and we have our prompt, so let's get into it. So our first part is talking about our thoughts on organizational culture. And for me, organizational culture is the most important aspect of any organization, particularly to me when it comes to the workplace, because the culture is everything that I judge, things that I like, if I don't like it, if I love my job, if I hate my job. It's all about the culture. Even if I love the work that I do, if the culture is terrible, I'm not staying there. So to me, it is everything. It's what brings value as an employee, what brings value to me. And I say that because I've had bad experiences with organizational cultures. At one of my previous jobs, it was an extremely competitive culture where it was dog eat dog. The managers encouraged competition between teams and everyone tried to mess each other up. And, the leaders in our organization even talked bad about each other, and they talked bad about other employees. And it just created this culture where everyone hated everything and no one wanted to work hard. No one wanted to strive to be better because it was just such a miserable place. So I personally think that culture is everything because of those experiences. What about you guys? You guys had any good or bad experiences?
I know me personally, I worked a little over 10 years in the travel industry for a number of different companies. And it was straight out of high school, so I really didn't have a lot of experience with jobs and organizational culture and all that. And I can remember training at Abercrombie & Kent, which was is a luxury tour operator. And the trainer talking about their unique culture, and I just didn't get it. After a few weeks on the job, though, I started to get a better understanding of what she meant by that. Because they too were very competitive, the tour consultants, trying to beat each other out for sales and everything. The departments that I worked in, management was real big on micromanaging and standing over your shoulder and criticizing when you're doing something not quite right, but not really quite wrong either. Real low on the compliments. Excuse me. Upper management pretty much stayed in their offices. They would call town hall meetings, and the CEO would come out to inform you of, big events or things affecting the industry. Other than that, though, you didn't really see them. They claimed to have an open door policy, but actually getting there to talk to them was next to impossible, which was a stark contrast from where I'd come from, which was Apple Vacations, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Very fun-loving, work hard, play hard. Management would mingle with all of the employees. They were totally available. They gave awards for, good performances, as well as reviews to seek out areas for improvement and help you work towards that improvement. They held social events to get employees from different departments familiar with one another and talking and getting to know one another. So it was a much different environment, and I would totally take the Apple Vacations environment over the A&K environment. How about you guys?
I definitely have to agree. I'm more want to be positively reinforced rather than shut down. And just going off of what Tony with Zappos.com on the YouTube video said, that environment's all fun loving. It's creating a positive atmosphere, whether it's fun and exciting and inviting, encourages the employees to want to come to work. You get people that are less likely to call out over just having a cough. They want to go to work. They want to put their best foot forward. They want to increase the morale of the company because they know that the culture is positive. They know they have a positive effect in that culture, and that positive effect then also helps the business to grow as a whole and encourages everybody else around them to do the same. It's what does the company hold them or their standards to, and what do I hold myself to? I have had the benefit of not having too many negative experiences so far. I've only worked for a handful of companies, but definitely the negative things that I see are the ones that, again, micromanage, like Susie said, that want to hover over you all the time, that set the expectations so high that it doesn't matter how hard you work or how many hours you put in, you're never going to get there. So you're never going to get that bonus. You're never going to be the top performer, even though that's what the upper management wants to say is the status quo, and that's what everybody should be getting, when the reality is probably nobody's getting it. So cultures like that are the ones that definitely turn me away, even not even just working there, but that's not even where I want to take my business to go support that type of company, because why would I want to support somebody that's just puts their employees down and has that such a negative culture for where they want to work. So that's my opinion on it. So we'll turn it over to somebody else here for a moment.
For me personally, I feel like I've been really blessed working in the aerospace manufacturing industry. I've noticed that a lot of leadership, the way that they formed organizational culture, kind of, developed a way of communicating to everyone.
Sorry, you're cutting it out. Hold on, let it catch up for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yep, there you
Go
go.
ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. That's so strange. So did you guys catch the last one about my last comment about framing? No? Okay.
Stop that aerospace.
Okay, yeah. So working in the aerospace manufacturing industry, framing has been one of the biggest factors that I've seen where our bosses create this mental picture, and then they portray it to us by establishing what exactly it is that they expect from us as employees. They emphasize the importance of meeting the deadlines, and they also become very clear about how everything is a group effort, and without collaborating together, then meeting the deadlines just isn't going to happen. And I think because deadlines are so important in my line of business, establishing that up front has been really beneficial to our culture, because it's like there's no blurred lines, there's no gray area. The deadlines are established, the expectations are communicated up front, and then it's just up to us to make sure that we meet those deadlines. Help us become comfortable with the atmosphere and know exactly what is expected of us. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I think you made some really good points there, Lorena. You're right, framing is extremely important. Ryan, I know you were trying to share as well. You want to share your experiences as well?
Absolutely. I actually can say, so just like Doug, I've had the privilege of working for only a handful of companies. But I can say, touch a little bit on what each of you have said, both with this agreeing and disagreeing. I've had one company that I worked for, it was the same as with the competitive, where yes, it was actually in a serving industry, where it was just basically a free for all. You go up, you go and meet, and whatever you want to put into it, however many people you want to serve at that time, they encourage it, and other people would be left and complain at the end of the night. Well, hey, I didn't make any money. Well, why? Bosses come back and say, well, work harder. Why didn't you go and get this person? Why didn't you help this person? And they completely were all about, okay, just pure numbers game, and just completely wanted to go with, oh, well, I'm going to agree with this person because he did better numbers that day. Try harder next time. And then just almost basically would even just say, yep, you're not performing as well, we're going to let you go just because you can't keep up with this other person. So then I've had great where even like Doug was saying, where he doesn't like being micromanaged. I can say that I also work for a company where it is great where I'm actually micromanaged to a point. And where the door is always open, as was pointed out, where the company wasn't there. Mine is, even though they're micromanaged, even if we're getting hit hard, our CEO, he'll sit there and take calls himself if we're getting hit. He is always there, always walking the floor. They definitely reward. Actually, just the other day, we had a whole thing where we had a couple people who were having some trouble. They picked up their numbers after getting coached, and as a whole company, the CEO and everybody came back out and recognized and handed them gift certificates and stuff like that for recognizing for them for doing their good job and getting their numbers up after being coached and getting helped. So I definitely have seen a whole bunch of different cultures where I want to go to work. Like I love going to work. I get to see all the people that I work with. I mean, it's fun. Like I said, to get to hang out with the boss, where he doesn't have a door. So his door is literally always open.
I think, a lot of what you're saying there is the expectations is what really brought about all the success and all the productiveness and how those people turned things around and got better. And I mean, it's like the Pygmalion effect. What leaders expect is what employees give, and that's something that I have seen throughout all the places that I've worked. I mean, if leaders have bad expectations, they don't really care what you do, no one's going to work very hard. And that actually leads into the next part of our prompt. Do you guys think that leaders shape culture?
Yes, absolutely. I know that like at A&K, where upper management really stayed in their offices and weren't too involved even in the departments that they were overseeing. It was like we lacked a leader. There wasn't a leader. And that's not to say either that the departments were, self-leading, because that wasn't the case either. Because for certain things, I can't think of an example off the top of my head right now, but for certain things, we'd still have to go track down the manager to get permission to, give a discount or what have you. So we weren't empowered to do stuff like that. If we were and management stayed in their offices, then I think it would have shaped the culture to be a little bit different and more positive in nature, despite the power distance. Anyone else?
For me personally, in my field, I feel that the Galatea effect kind of is more prominent. And I think it's because back to my conversation about how a lot of our leadership kind of frames the importance of deadlines and how, they make it really clear up front, this is a group effort. So if you don't pull your own weight, you're going to, people depend on you. I think for us, we have to set up our own expectations individually and like really, really stand up to the plate for that. But at the same time, I mean, I agree with you, Susie. I think leadership is all about being strategic, and the way that leadership communicates to the employees. The best example I can give just really quick is my direct supervisor, who is the director of customer support there, literally moved his door from being accessible in a hallway to the side where it's kind of like not hidden, but just not as accessible. And so there was a lot of talking on the floor, people thinking, saying, you could hear the rumors, like people talking like, why is he moving the door? Does he not want to have that open door policy? People became not afraid, but, they were thinking to themselves like, well, if this guy doesn't want us to come in and bother him, then, why is he even in this leadership position? And, I just went up to him and I said, you know what, I think this is the feeling I'm getting from the department. I'm his executive assistant. I'm like, this is the feeling that I've been getting. This is what I've been hearing. I think us together, we need to communicate this to the team, that you move your door strategically, not to avoid people to have communication with you, but you need to let them know that the phone calls that you're getting directly from customers are very important and they deserve confidentiality, and this is the reason why you moved the door. So, you know, in a nutshell, it's about being strategic on the way that you approach things and the way that you communicate things to your employees, in my own opinion.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. There's the one thing that really stood out to me in the Zappos videos was how the organization's vision translated and the employees like adhered to it outside of the workplace. It literally transformed them as individuals to take on those values themselves. And just as one guy said, he became a better person because of it. None of the companies that I've ever worked for have been able to translate a vision to me or values like that to me, where I was thinking about it outside of work. So, I mean, it would be really cool to find a company to work for that was like that.
Definitely. I think leaders 100% shape the culture. Their mentality, their expectations, their warmth, their negativity, everything they do from the moment they walk through that door and their employees see them and the people they work with see them, 100% affects the outcome of the rest of the day. Day in and day out, you can have one day that manager or whatever had a horrible night, whatever, he's got family issues and he brings that through the door, and the entire dilemma or morale of the whole department, whole company changes on the instant. So I think that is what I've seen, and it changes it within seconds. It can go one phone call to the next, one deadline to the next, things can change. And I think so as leaders, we have to have that mentality of this is the expectations we set for ourselves. This is the expectations we set for our team. Leave our personal business at the door is what I've always been taught, and go in with the company's best interest at heart and having that setup to set up the best culture for everybody that we work for to provide the best for them. So I think as leaders, that's what we should really be focused on.
Doug, I couldn't agree more. Demeanor is right there. Just as you said, it walks in with you at the door, it leaves. It should stay at the door when you come in. That it's 100% purely how people take in their attitudes towards it. If somebody's negative, it's going to reflect on everybody else. It's a trickle-down effect. It needs to stay positive in order to be good.
Completely agree with you guys. That and language. That was the other thing that Chapter 8 brought up, is language is a huge deal as well, and how you present the culture through the language. So I think we're all on the same page with that we all agree that leaders can shape organizational cultures. I think this was a great discussion today, and thank you everyone for joining, and see you all next week.